Hello, we are broadcasting from in the basement at an undisclosed location.
I remember my younger years very vividly. We always had the most amazing curtains in our home. We weren't well off, not by any means. Yet we had incredible curtains, embroidered, layered, and tied together with golden rope attached to fancy hooks on the wall. You know the kind of curtains? The kind that had the front layer, the back layer, and that strange half-partial layer that hung from the top. I recall those curtains. My mother would store half a dozen curtains in large rubber containers, and my father would step aside as she fussed over them. As fall neared its completion and winter approached, every year she would have one of the kids take down the living room curtains and replace them with the thickest ones we had. It was tradition, and often I would find my young self balancing on the edge of our couch with a screwdriver in one hand, while she told me exactly how I should hang them. Now mind you, I've done it before, and she was actually not helping with her commentary, and yet she insisted on giving me directives. I remember being so annoyed by that, and now I can only smile at those memories. I once asked her, why do we need such curtains? And she responded, because your sisters live here, and they need to be protected. That stuck with me. Imagine my surprise when some of my friends had no curtains. And more shocking, the little girls that lived in their homes had no curtains either. This, to me, was insane. I could see right into their living rooms, even right into their bedrooms. It was disturbing, and I remember being very angry back then. How could they not care? How could they expose their little girls to the voyeuristic eyes of strangers? Even at 10 years old, I felt like they were shameless. Shameless families. It was as if I lived amongst them, and yet I was not of them. They were alien to me, so cavalier and open to the world as if nothing was sacred. My young mind pitied them, as if I knew better than them, as if I had a wisdom and they were lost. I felt bad for them, windows wide open as I looked at them with their families in their homes. I was in fact the stranger in their midst. Myself and my family, we moved into their country, and they graciously accepted, and so began the dance that all immigrants begin once planted in new soil. We kept our traditions and held on to them, as if we would vanish if we let them go. We kept our windows shut and curtains blocking out the world, because in our custom, home was the spiritual center of your lives, and as such we had to keep it purified, and part of that purity was in guarding our shame, protecting our modesty. And though we were poor, we made sure to afford curtains, phantasmal curtains that my mother would look at with what I can only assume was pride whenever the women folk she loved came over for a visit. And my father, stoic as he was, wouldn't breathe a word about the auspicious display of wealth when he would discuss community affairs with the men who came to visit us. They would frequent our home and in traditional clothing sit about drinking tea and smoking cigarettes. They would discuss the old country, their new country, and the news of the day, who was not well, how together they would help, collecting money for their cause, and giving their blessings to the marriages that would start a new chapter in the expansion in our families, our community. Yet, I was here, one foot in the old country, and the other firmly placed in this new one. It was home, my home, and beyond those beautiful curtains was a city teeming with every kind of human being possible, from every corner of the world. One of those people was a beautiful local whom shan't be named. She was born here, and so was her family, generations dating back. In my later years, we would become friends. By the time we became friends, 20 years had passed since my childhood, and that question of the curtain still bothered me. Why do you not have curtains? Why is it so common in this country to not have curtains? I couldn't begin to understand why. Do you not care for exposing yourselves, your children? Is it shamelessness, pride regarding the materials you have amassed in your homes? When I asked this friend of mine, why no curtains, she thought long and hard, and she answered. I will never forget her answer. Maybe you are keeping the world out. Maybe we want to let the world in. Maybe your worldview is a world that is hostile, dangerous, one where threats are real, and maybe we have been lucky enough to not have that danger here. Maybe we just don't think of others as harmful. That answer was a beautiful response. It was so effortless for her to conceive this notion, and I understood then why we are different, so that we may know each other, and in doing so end our judgments and learn that in us all is beauty. What a beautiful country we found. A while after that conversation, for the first time I seen in her windows curtains, magnificent curtains, and I knew she seen the beauty in our ways as well.